Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Aisha. I'm back with another video. Can you believe the story about the girl getting hit by a brick just weeks after I talked about my run-in with someone while I was walking downtown? So, if you don't know, if you don't have social media, a young lady was apparently walking and was stopped by a man who asked for her phone number. She declined. The situation escalated and he proceeded to bang her in the side of the head with a brick. Yes, a brick that is used to build a foundation for a building. A whole brick. He used a weapon. He assaulted her because she denied to give her phone number to a complete stranger man that she was not interested in and that she told no. Now, this situation is nothing new. We all probably can think of a woman who has been insulted, catcalled, assaulted, even to the most extreme extent, has been killed by a man for rejecting him. And this is getting worse and worse. And it's not just a thing that's happened in the US. This is a worldwide occurrence. We even have women in countries who are completely, fully robed and clothed, no skin visible, who are still being assaulted by men because they just want to see what's under those garments, or what are you about? They just want to know. They just want to be included in your life, and they just want to get validation from a woman. And the thing is, there's a whole bunch of opinions out there about this story. So here's another opinion coming from me. And this mindset of men and behavior starts early. And if you work in school systems, you see it. It gets started young. And I don't think some people think about it that way, on how when we are telling boys, oh, when they do something, boys will be boys, giving them excuses and passes for disruptive behavior, hitting women or hitting young girls, or talking badly to young girls, or bullying young girls in general. Oh, boys will be boys. Oh, he didn't mean it that way. Or when even in the classroom that teachers may do, oh, can we get a big, strong man to help me carry this and that? It's like we're saying, okay, only boys can be big and strong. And then we say to boys who start crying, oh, stop crying. Don't be a girl. Stop all that crying. Only girls cry. Do you want to be a man, or do you want to be a little sissy? We use terms like sissy and sassy and punk to describe boys who show emotions. When we all as a society encourage and use those terms and phrases and teach young boys not to show emotion, and teach them that they can get away with things, and teach them that no means maybe and not no means no, if we continue to do that throughout their whole life, what do you think the next thing is going to be? What do you think the next phase of that is when they become an adult? They're older, they're stronger. It's going to be violence. That's what boys will be boys turns into when they get older, is violence. When judges are giving small charges to sexual assaulters because, oh, they didn't mean it, or, oh, what was the girl wearing? Or did she come on to him? Did she give him any attention? They give excuses to boys, and it never ends. It never stops. So if we have institutions, government systems, If we have all of these systems saying that it's okay for men to behave this way, and women have been shouting and screaming and telling everyone what is happening to us, what is next? And then you have, it should have never even got that far. He should have understood when she said no thank you. He should have backed down and said okay and moved on. And my thought is other people, the other men in the area should have said, all right, dude, she said no. All right, like back down, move on. And then you have people who say no one else should have got involved because they don't know her and it's not their job to protect a random stranger. Now, personally, I disagree. And I would hope that if I was on the street and someone was arguing with me, raising their voice, and was coming closer to me or was getting aggressive and especially hitting me, I would expect that someone would either step in before it happened, stop them, tried to calm them down, speak some wisdom, because whatever she was saying, he wasn't hearing it. And then hopefully after, somebody would show some form of empathy to the young lady and try and treat her and care for her wounds or get her to a hospital or call the police so she can file a police report and go get checked out by the doctors. So I feel like there were so many chances for someone to provide some form of protection for her, and I think she was failed from what I saw. Didn't seem like anyone did anything, and no one cared for her after the situation even occurred. And I don't think people realize the stats of women being by men that they know. The stats are astronomical, especially pregnant women. Pregnant women are being by men that created their child in their stomach. And you have some people saying, okay, well, how was she acting before? Or what kind of things was she doing online before this happened? What's her reputation? What was she wearing? What does she look like? How was she speaking to the man? There is no reason why a man should hit a lady upside the head with the brick because she said, I do not want to give you my number. There is no reason you could come up with that would excuse such violent behavior and act of assault with a weapon. Are you kidding me? Because she said no to giving her phone number, her personal information. And then, speaking of that, since when does a woman have to look, speak, and act a certain way to receive protection from men? And that goes back to the whole raping culture and what was she wearing? All of this is all connected in my opinion, in my mind. This all goes from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. They're all intertwined. So she has to be dressed a certain way. She has to speak a certain way in order for men to say, okay, no, back down, leave her alone. I won't keep continuing pursuing this situation. So when does it end? When does it ever stop? If I wear something like this, does this mean that I'm asking for a male to come in, attack me? Because I don't know what words YouTube is going to take out of this video, like say that is not eligible for a YouTube video. So I don't know if I can say certain words, but when does it end? What else is going to happen to women for things to change? And you all know me, my videos, I always try and give solutions and tips and suggestions. And it's like, for this, something like this, there's nothing I can say, okay, maybe she should have said this, or maybe she should have done that. There is nothing you can say because even understand there's times where you can ignore a man. He takes that offensively. You can say thank you, then they think that means to advance in this situation. Or you could say, like, if they give you a compliment, thank you, and they come towards you because you engaged in conversation in a way, so they think that means they could keep going. And then you say, I'm not interested, and they say, oh, now you're not interested, I just gave you a compliment. You don't think I could get something for giving me a compliment? So there is no win. And that goes back to the whole thing of, why is it that women have to adjust our behaviors and we have to be the ones to work around them? Why can't they use their own brain and follow what is wrong and what is right in terms of not hurting and harming women on the street? Why do we have to dress a certain way? Why do we have to speak a certain way? Why do we have to think of either look away, run? We have to be the ones to think of carrying protection and safety tools to use on weapons to use on men. We have to think of all those things. Why can't it just be they think of their own behaviors and check them at the door every time they leave the house, or even before they leave the house with the women and their families? And another thing I notice how this all stems up too is, sometimes in the household, women are the ones told in the house, oh, take care of your brothers, take care of your dad, clean up after your brothers and clean up after your dad, cook, do this, do that. And the boys just get to lay around and chill out. Those kind of ideas and teachings creates men who think women should do what they say, and women should be only's existence is for taking care of and being of service to a man, whether that's physically, sexually, whatever they think your reasoning is. When we encourage women to take care of men and the house, like when they're younger, and we teach the men that they don't have to do anything, all of that stems these kind of behaviors and when they're older. Because it just goes from one thing to the next extreme. It just keeps getting bigger, and bigger. And when men send unsolicited pictures of their body parts to women, and that just goes under the rug. I started receiving those in high school, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what the heck are we supposed to do about this? This is uncomfortable. Some random guy is sending me images of his penis that I didn't ask for. And then you have school systems covering up rape in their schools. This is just encouraging more violence on women. Okay, what can we do? What is it that we can all do to help at least deter and stop stuff like this from happening? Well, first of all, I think stop saying things like boys will be boys, and stop saying, oh, stop crying, don't be a sissy, don't be a sassy, don't be a girl. Allow young boys and little boys to cry and show their emotion and help them through it. Describe their emotion. Tell them solutions to helping their problems and letting them work through that emotion that they have. Don't just try and cut it off and make them hold it in. Give discipline and give repercussions that are fitting to behaviors. There is no boys will be boys. It's okay, you did this, you did that, that was wrong. You caused this harm and damage to this person, so this is going to be your repercussion for that. Because you did something wrong, so you have to pay for the price for that. And then stop making girls in your house take care of the men in their house. It's not their job. And of course, I know some of you live in certain countries and cultures where you can't do these things because it will literally cost you your life. And you have to speak with someone in your culture about that and how to go over this. But if you live in America, these are things that you can do to help this system of oppression on women, the patriarchy, basically. And you can also, what else am I thinking? of solutions for this. Teach your sons and kids in your family, if a girl says no, that means no. And hopefully in my opinion, again, I would think you would encourage the boys in your family to intervene when a man is being aggressive to a woman in public, or provide some form of intervention, whether they're just being a spectator and watching and being a bystander. Don't think someone else is going to do something. You be the one to do something and step in. Because just because you don't know her, just because you don't think she's pretty, just because you're not dating her, doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve someone to be a good person and help, or just not even have that situation occur in the first place. But again, I want to say I hope that young lady, her name is Ro, I hope she heals mentally and physically from this situation. I hope it doesn't cause too much damage in her, and the whole thing. I hope she gets a great surgeon to help heal that, and I hope mentally she's able to move on from that traumatic situation. And again, I hope the same for all women out there. I hope that we can all keep pushing and getting past abuse from men that we experience. And I hope it doesn't keep us from moving on with our lives. And then again, I hope people will listen to what women are saying about their safety and start changing things so we can all live in this society as, together and not have to keep separating. Because there are certain countries, I think it's Korea, South Korea, where they have to have the flicker on the cameras. Every time a camera takes a picture, it has to make a click sound because of all of the men that were taking pictures of women underneath their garments and their dresses and skirts on subways and just out in public. It got so bad that they had to have the clicker situation. And that seems like, hopefully maybe someone can let us know if that's helping keep the situation down. But that is a solution. But again, another solution would have been never having it happen in the first place. Men never doing that to begin with. And then I know in Japan they have certain train stations and subways that are only for women can get on the carts because of the assault and harassment and aggression they were experiencing on the subway. And then I hear in New York, lots of women are assaulted on the subway all the time in the train stations. So when are they going to start impacting women-only shoots and women-only this and women-only that? I think that would help. One more observation that I've made I want to share is I've literally had parents call me and say they do not want their young boys playing in the dramatic play area, house section, in the baby section. If you don't know what that is, dramatic play is basically a setup area in childhood centers and in schools for early childhood, so 5/6 and under. And in those centers, we use real life models, but shrunk down to children's size, so they can experience things that adults experience on the regular day-to-day. So we have like mechanical tools that are kid size, kitchen areas that are kid size, bakeries that are kid size. So basically like a huge museum of occupations and hobbies that adults have on the day-to-day, but they're made for kids to be able to experience it. So I've had parents, males, the men, who say, do not have my son playing with the baby doll and don't have him playing in the kitchen. What? You don't want your son learning basic skills of cooking, measuring, using a measuring cup, teaspoons, tablespoons, knowing what foods go in the refrigerator, what foods go in the pantry. Like, parents, I don't think, realize all the learning that happens when kids are able to have free play, but playing with objects that can be used in the day-to-day life. So he's missing out on recipes. He's missing out on basic math. He's missing out on how to store food properly. He's missing out on basic cooking. All because you don't want your son to do a girly activity. And then this is teaching your kids, Coco, no. And this is teaching your kids empathy. When they are taking care of the baby dolls, they're practicing on how to care for another human being. They're learning how to handle emotions. They're learning how to care for objects even, and how to take care of things that may belong to them or may not belong to them. So all those skills that child is missing because you don't think they should be playing with a girl toy. And it is really deep. It really is deep, because you even have mothers sometimes encouraging behaviors like this, like only letting their daughters play with dolls, or don't letting their daughters play with science sets or play in the construction area, or telling their sons, encouraging their sons to be sexual at a young age. Like, has anyone heard that story? Allegedly, Boosie had his son to sleep with a prostitute at a young age so he would be into women. And that's allegedly. I don't think we can have any proof on that. Maybe he did speak on it. I don't know. I don't follow him, but I heard about that story some years ago. Allegedly, he did that. And how many of you have known some weirdo who encourages young kids to look at women, like even just telling little boys, oh, he's gonna be a heart stealer, a heartbreaker? What? Why are you telling a little boy that? He's not even 6. He's not even hormonally interested in anything that has to do with pertaining a relationship. Or telling little girls, you know, she's gonna break some necks when she's older. What? Just let them be kids. They don't need to be thinking about anything sexual or relationships or same sex, opposite sex. Just let them enjoy their childhood and experience things at the appropriate time. But I've seen it. Parents pushing things on their kids about doing this, doing that with them. Like, ooh, she's pretty. Like, what would you want to do to her? Like, what do you think about her? Look at her. But who am I? I'm not a parent. But I just hope that we can all think logically and take care of our children so they won't become these monsters when they get older. That's all I want to say about the situation. Again, I hope she heals fine, and I hope we have less of these stories now that we're speaking about it more frequently. And ladies, just we unfortunately, we have to be the ones to work around the men, so we got to carry protection, pepper gel, knives. Some of you even use guns if you're comfortable and you know all about them, you know. And then we have to learn kind of whether to avoid them, look at them, speak to them nicely, carry conversation, like little soft skills. But sometimes if you go too far with them, they think they can follow your car and get in the car. It's just crazy. I don't think there is a way to completely avoid it. And the girls who enjoy walking, I'm a walker. I've always loved walking. In college, I would always walk to campus if I could, because it's a great way to experience life, get steps in. And when you are open to meeting people, it's a great way to meet people. But it's like we can't even walk anymore. We can't take public transportation because of creepos. And it's sad, but unfortunately we have to be the ones to adjust around them, because they clearly have shown us that they aren't going to be adjusting and they're not going to look out for us. So we just have to look out for ourselves. Women protect women. That's just what it seems like where it's going. And we got to keep each other up on game, basically. So that's my video. Leave your comments below. What do you think about the situation? Your thoughts, opinions. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.